had a very obvious problem to overcome last season. Jurgen's men dominated the large majority of their opponents and almost brought an unprecedented quadruple to Merseyside, but struggled to control games whenever Alcantara was absent. The Italian-born conductor has evolved to become S fulcrum since his transfer from Bayern Munich in the summer of 2020. He is gifted when in possession of the ball, offering a calming presence whenever the heat is turned up and showcasing a remarkable ability to keep the ball in the tightest of spaces. Painted himself as S controller last term, but whenever he was replaced in the team, mostly due to injury setbacks, the Reds weren't the same. Players such as Jordan Henderson, James Milner and would attempt to replicate their special teammate, but without the same degree of efficiency. At the beginning of this season, picked up a knock in S' first match of the new season against Fulham, which forced into an uncharacteristic panic in the transfer market. The German coach was previously going to refrain from signing a midfielder, but S' injury seemed to change his perspective, which forced into making an unusual loan move for just hours before the summer deadline approached. The Brazilian was a late arrival, and he joined with a comparable skill set to the all-important, acting as a controller who was comfortable accepting the ball under pressure. Over his previous 4 seasons competing in Serie A and La Liga, Arthur had completed 92.3% of his 4,136 passes. Those figures naturally lack context, but they do at least capture his tendency to offer security on the ball. In fact, the numbers suggested he was even more inclined to find a teammate than was, albeit without offering the same degree of progression towards the final third and penalty box. Acquired a lone player who would always show for the ball, and one who would always keep it, even in the most turbulent of environments. Compared with the players that had at his disposal earlier in the season, Arthur seemed the best suited to performing in place of. However, it didn't take long for catastrophe to strike, and the South American picked up a serious injury which has kept him from playing ever since. Despite being on English shores since August, Arthur is still yet to feature in a single match. It remains to be seen whether he'll ever represent the Reds in England's top flight, although now could be his chance. Has picked up a hip injury which could keep him out of action for the next month, and Arthur could aim to be back on the grass before him. It could take him a while before he's up to speed, but perhaps will finally be able to use his loan signing just as he initially intended at the beginning of the season, as a support act for whenever he's unable to feature. Plan B could finally come to fruition. Jurgen has been left with no choice on big decision as transfer answer obvious faces critical situation in Jude Bellingham transfer race as $42 million star back on radar.